chosen one. Lean in, because you did not arrive here by accident. Heaven aligned this exact moment, this exact message, and this exact breath in your body so you could hear what God has been whispering over your life. Your blessing is not on the way, it is here, now unfolding in real time. You are standing at the edge of a supernatural release, a divine wealth transfer that has already been authorized in the unseen. The timing is perfect, the alignment is precise, and the anointing on this word is undeniable. Anointed One, your spirit already knows this. That stirring you feel is confirmation from the throne. For too long, hesitation has stood at the door of your breakthrough, but today, heaven breaks that cycle. Just as it is written in Joshua chapter 1 verse 3, God gives every place where your feet are willing to step, meaning the blessing is activated the moment you accept it. This is your moment of acceptance. This is your moment of agreement. This is your moment of awakening. Chosen one, receive this word with open hands and an expectant heart, because what God is releasing over you cannot be stopped, delayed, or denied any longer. Your blessing is here now. Step into it. Chosen one. Take a breath right here, because what I'm about to speak into your spirit is not coming from human wisdom. It is coming from a place I've had to walk through myself, seasons where heaven felt silent, where doors stayed shut, where blessings hovered near me, but never seemed to land. I know what it is to stand on the edge of something God promised, yet feel like one small hesitation could make it slip away. And that is exactly where you are right now. Not forgotten, not denied, positioned. Heaven has been arranging your steps with a precision you didn't notice because it felt so ordinary, but nothing about this moment is ordinary. Something shifted over your life while you were praying, while you were waiting, while you were crying, in secret, and wondering if God heard the sound of your heart. Anointed One, He did, and He moved. What is unfolding for you right now is not future tense, it is present. Your blessing is not approaching, it is here, resting in the unseen, waiting for your acceptance. Heaven keeps showing me this image of someone standing in front of an open door, but frozen, trying to decide if the door is really meant for them. And I recognize that image because I have been that person. I've stood at thresholds God opened and still asked, "Are you sure this is for me?" when what He needed was a step, not a question. Chosen one, that's where the enemy traps so many people, not in failure, but in hesitation. Doubt is subtle. It whispers, it analyzes, it delays. And delay is the thief of blessing. You can lose a moment heaven prepared simply by refusing to believe it's yours. I learned that the hard way. There were blessings God tried to release into my life, opportunities I prayed for, breakthroughs I fasted for, and they slipped right by me because I hesitated. Not because God withheld them, but because I didn't accept them. That's why I'm speaking to you with such urgency. I don't want you to repeat the same cycle. I need you to hear this. Your blessing requires your agreement, not your perfection, not your readiness, not your certainty, your agreement. Heaven is not asking you to understand everything. Heaven is asking you to receive what has already been released. I remember a moment in my own life when I finally realized that faith wasn't the ability to see the entire path. It was simply the courage to take the next step. It reminded me of the moment described in Joshua chapter 1 verse 3, where God says He will give every place where your foot is willing to step. Not every place you dream about, every place you step. Chosen. 1. This is your stepping moment. Something in your spirit is already stirring because heaven is calling you into acceptance. You are being pulled into alignment with a blessing that has been hovering over your life for months, even years. The shift began without your awareness, but the manifestation will require your participation. And right now, the greatest danger is not the enemy, it is hesitation. Because once you see what I'm about to reveal next, you will understand why the enemy fought so hard to keep you uncertain. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Chosen one. As we move deeper, I need you to understand something heaven has been highlighting over your life. You have been living beneath a blessing that has already been released. Not because you were unworthy, not because God was delaying you, but because your spirit was still healing from seasons where receiving felt dangerous. When you've been disappointed enough times, even miracles can make you flinch. Even open doors can feel suspicious. Even answered prayers can feel too good to trust. I know this feeling intimately. There was a time when I prayed for breakthrough, but secretly braced myself for disappointment. I asked God for open doors, but when they finally opened, I stood there overthinking, analyzing every angle, trying to decide if the blessing was truly mine. And the enemy loves that space, the gap between God's confirmation and our acceptance. He slips into that hesitation and plants seeds of confusion. He whispers, "What if it's not your moment? What if you fail again? What if this blessing isn't meant for you?" And we don't realize that doubt sounds logical when spoken in the language of fear. Anointed one. Heaven is confronting that hesitation today because your spirit is ready for something your mind still questions. This blessing is not waiting for the perfect version of you, it is waiting for the surrendered version of you. The version that says, "God, I may not understand everything, but I accept what you're giving. I receive what you've released." Let me share something personal. There was a moment in my life when I felt God nudging me toward an opportunity bigger than anything I had ever stepped into. It terrified me. I felt unprepared, unqualified, and unsure. But deep in my spirit, I knew God had opened that door. And the moment I said yes, even before the blessing showed up, I felt heaven shift around me. Everything aligned. Conversations I needed appeared. Resources arrived without explanation. What I thought would take years unfolded in days. And it wasn't because I became stronger, wiser, or more spiritual. It was because I finally accepted. Chosen one, your life is standing on that same edge. Heaven has already signed the release. The blessing is hovering, waiting to land. But the enemy has been fighting your confidence, making you question your worth, your readiness, your identity. That ends today. You are not stepping into this blessing because you earned it. You are stepping into it because you are aligned with it. There is a divine timing in all things, and heaven is revealing that your timing is now. I can sense this so strongly, the shift has already happened. The blessing is no longer future tense. Your acceptance is the final key. This is why your spirit has felt restless lately, why old battles suddenly rose again, why you've been sensing something changing in the atmosphere. Your spirit recognizes what your mind is still catching up to. You are crossing into a new season of supernatural release. But listen closely, anointed one. The next step is the most important one, because what I'm about to show you next reveals the true barrier that has been blocking your blessing, and once you see it, you will never move the same way again. Chosen. One, before heaven reveals the next layer of this message, I need you to prepare your heart for something honest, something many never want to face. The greatest barrier to your blessing has never been the enemy, it has been the hesitation inside you. Not because you lacked faith, not because you were weak, but because life trained you to survive disappointment instead of expect breakthrough. When you've spent years fighting just to stay afloat, receiving can feel unfamiliar. Abundance can feel intimidating, blessing can feel heavy. I've lived through seasons where I begged God for change, yet shrank back the moment change arrived. I prayed for new doors, but when they opened, I stood still, afraid of what stepping through would require. It wasn't the enemy blocking me, it was the echo of old pain telling me I wasn't ready. And that same echo might be whispering in your spirit right now. But chosen one, heaven is silencing that voice today. God is not asking you to be fearless. He is asking you to be willing. Your blessing responds not to perfection, but to acceptance. Let me show you something the Spirit revealed to me during one of my hardest transitions. I was walking through a season where nothing made sense. It felt like God was pulling me toward a new place, a new assignment, a new level, but everything in me resisted. I asked for signs, confirmations, more clarity, anything that would guarantee I wouldn't make a mistake. And, in that quiet moment, I sensed the clearest whisper in my spirit. You cannot receive what you keep analyzing. Those words broke me open. I realized faith is not meant to feel safe. It is meant to feel surrendered. It reminded me of the moment described in Joshua chapter 1 verse 3, that God gives the place where your foot is willing to step, not the place where your mind feels fully certain. Anointed. 1. Your spirit already knows what your mind is, hesitating to accept. The door is open, and it is yours. You don't need another sign. You don't need more evidence. You don't need every fear resolved. Your next level requires movement, not mastery. And the hesitation you've been feeling is not a warning. It is a sign that your old season is losing its grip on you. Think about your recent days. The way certain conversations felt different. The way your dreams have become more vivid. The way you've outgrown people, habits, and even mindsets without trying. These are not coincidences. These are indicators that heaven has already shifted your timeline. You're not waiting for breakthrough. Breakthrough is waiting for you to step forward. But hear me clearly, chosen. One hesitation is not just a pause. In the spiritual realm, hesitation creates openings. It gives the enemy room to plant doubt, confusion, insecurity. But when you move even a little, heaven responds immediately. Blessings begin to align, provision begins to gather, doors accelerate, because acceptance activates what has already been released. You are closer than you think. You are stronger than you realize. And you are standing in front of a blessing that will not wait forever. The next revelation I'm about to share will expose the exact spiritual pattern that has kept so many chosen ones stuck at the edge of breakthrough. But once you recognize it, something inside you will shift permanently. Chosen one. As we continue, I need you to lean in with your whole spirit, because what I'm about to uncover is a pattern heaven has been trying to break off your life for years. This pattern is subtle, quiet, almost invisible, and that is why it has been so effective at holding you back. It is the cycle of waiting for perfect clarity before accepting what God has already released. You may not realize it yet, but this cycle has cost you opportunities, relationships, divine appointments, and even timely blessings that were meant to accelerate your journey. I've walked this path myself. There were seasons where I waited for every fear to disappear before saying yes. Seasons where I wanted God to explain every detail before I moved. Seasons where I told myself I'm just being cautious, when in reality I was being controlled by the residue of old wounds. That's the danger. Hesitation often disguises itself as wisdom. But real wisdom leads to obedience, not paralysis. Real wisdom aligns with trust, not fear. Anointed one. Heaven is revealing that you have been standing in a doorway, holding the handle, sensing the blessing behind it, but still asking, what if? What if it fails? What if I'm not ready? What if I get hurt again? But heaven is asking you a different question. What if this time it works? What if this is the breakthrough you prayed for? What if this opportunity carries your elevation? You won't know until you step. And blessings, no matter how divinely orchestrated, cannot force their way into a closed, fearful heart. I remember a simple moment that changed the way I understood divine timing. I was sitting alone late at night, wrestling with a decision I knew God was nudging me toward. Everything in the natural world felt uncertain. I wanted more signs, more confirmation. And then in the quiet, I felt a truth rise in me. Waiting for perfect peace is still disobedience if God has already spoken. That realization shook me. I realized I wasn't lacking confirmation, I was lacking courage. I wasn't waiting for God, God was waiting for me. Chosen one, this is where you are now. Heaven has already moved. The spiritual atmosphere around your life has already shifted. You are not stepping into a blessing that is forming. You are stepping into a blessing that is ready. But acceptance is your key. Movement is your agreement. Faith is your access point. Think about the moments in your life when you took leaps you didn't feel ready for, and yet everything worked out. Think about the unexpected provision that came when you trusted. Think about the times God caught you when you could not catch yourself. Those memories are testimonies, reminders, living evidence that you were never carried by your own strength. And you won't be carried by your own strength in this next season either. This blessing is not fragile. This blessing is not uncertain. This blessing is not temporary. It was crafted for you, tailored to your calling, timed to your growth. Heaven waited for your maturity, your healing, your surrender, and now it waits for your acceptance. Anointed one. The next part of this message will reveal the moment everything shifts, the moment acceptance becomes transformation and hesitation loses its power over you forever. Chosen one, as we step deeper into this revelation, I want you to truly feel the weight of what heaven is placing before you, because this is not just a message, it is a spiritual intervention, a divine interruption designed to break the final chain that has held you just inches away from what God has already poured into your story. And that chain is this believing the blessing is real, yet feeling unworthy to receive it. This is the quiet battle no one talks about. The battle between what your spirit knows and what your past tells you. I know that tug of war well. There was a time when blessings came toward me, and instead of opening my hands, I withdrew. Not because I didn't believe in God's love, but because I didn't believe I was worthy of the magnitude of His generosity. Trauma can distort truth. Delays can distort identity. Rejection can distort worth. And when we've been shaped by those experiences, even God's goodness can feel too big to belong to us. Anointed. One, heaven is addressing that today, because your blessing cannot be received with a heart still arguing with its own worthiness. And yet, here is the truth that breaks every argument. God did not give you this blessing because of who you used to be. He is giving it because of who He has formed you to become. Every season you endured, every heartbreak you survived, every prayer you whispered through exhaustion, all of it molded you into a vessel capable of carrying this blessing with wisdom and humility. Your past didn't disqualify you, it prepared you. When I look back at my own journey, I can see it so clearly now. The rejections that crushed me were actually redirections. The opportunities I lost weren't sabotage, they were protection. The waiting seasons weren't punishment, they were refinement. There was a specific moment when this revelation became real to me. I had just come through a painful season of loss. I felt bruised, overlooked, and emptied out. And in that lowest moment, an unexpected blessing arrived, something I didn't pray for, something I didn't earn. My first reaction wasn't joy, it was confusion. My second reaction was resistance. I told myself I don't deserve this, but I sensed God whisper back, "It's not about deserving, it's about destiny." That sentence rewired me. It taught me that blessings are not rewards, they are assignments, and God equips His chosen ones with what they need to walk into the future He designed. Chosen one. This is exactly where you are. You are stepping into a blessing that matches your calling, not your comfort zone. A blessing proportionate to your purpose, not your past. A blessing that will stretch you, grow you, and elevate you. And yes, it will shock you, because heaven is not giving you what you expect. Heaven is giving you what you were created for. But here is the sacred truth you must hold tightly. Acceptance is the doorway to transformation. The moment you accept the blessing, everything around you begins to shift: your atmosphere, your opportunities, your relationships, your inner identity. Anointed one. The next part of this message will reveal why the enemy fought you so fiercely in this season, and why his grip breaks the moment you finally accept what has always been yours. Chosen one. As we move into this next revelation, I need you to hear this with the deepest part of your spirit. The enemy did not fight you because you were weak. He fought you because of what you were about to receive. Every delay, every doubt, every storm sent against your life was not random. It was targeted, strategic, intentional. Because the enemy knew something you did not fully realize. Until now, a chosen one who finally accepts their blessing becomes unstoppable. For many years you thought the warfare meant something was wrong with you, but heaven is correcting that lie today. The warfare did not indicate your lack, it confirmed your value. The greater the assignment, the greater the resistance. And the enemy knew that once you accepted the blessing, God released every chain He placed on your life would snap under the weight of your new level. I've lived this pattern myself. When I was on the brink of stepping into a breakthrough, everything seemed to go wrong at once. Unexpected problems, emotional heaviness, unexplainable fatigue, relationships suddenly shifting. It felt like an invisible pressure on my soul. At first, I assumed it meant I was off track. But later in prayer, I felt God reveal something that changed how I interpret spiritual resistance forever. The pressure is not a sign of defeat, it is a sign of transition. Anointed one, that pressure you've been feeling. It wasn't meant to break you, it was meant to birth you. Heaven was stretching you into the capacity required to carry the blessing that is arriving now. The enemy wasn't attacking your past, he was attacking your future. He wasn't afraid of who you were, he was terrified of who you were becoming. And here is the part that strikes so deeply. The enemy's only real weapon against you was hesitation. He could not close the door God opened. He could not stop the blessing God released. He could not reverse the timing heaven ordained, but he could try to convince you not to step into it. That was his entire strategy, not destruction, distraction. Think about the moments this blessing was closest to manifesting. Did you notice how suddenly you felt unsure, how old insecurities resurfaced, how your mind became loud even when your spirit felt peace? These were not coincidences. These were attacks designed to make you question what God already confirmed. But here is where the shift happens. The moment you accept the blessing, the enemy loses his argument. Acceptance shuts every door he tries to enter. Acceptance breaks every cycle he tried to prolong. Acceptance restores every opportunity he tried to steal. I remember a pivotal night when I finally stepped into something God had been urging me to accept for months. The moment I said yes, truly yes, something broke in the atmosphere around me. The heaviness lifted. The confusion dissolved. Clarity flooded in. It was as if heaven had been waiting on my agreement to release the next wave of blessings. And suddenly I understood God had already done his part. All that remained was my acceptance. Chosen one, that is exactly where you stand. The enemy's influence ends the moment your acceptance begins. He cannot hold what you surrender to God. He cannot block what you boldly receive. And in the next part, I will reveal the exact spiritual shift that happens the moment a chosen one finally says, I accept it. It is the moment destiny unlocks. Chosen one. As we enter this next unveiling, I need you to prepare yourself, because what I'm about to describe is the exact spiritual shift that occurs the moment a chosen one finally says, I accept it. Heaven has shown me this repeatedly in my own journey, in the lives of others, and now in yours. Acceptance is not passive. Acceptance is activation. It is a spiritual ignition that awakens everything God has already aligned on your behalf. The enemy works tirelessly to keep you in hesitation because he knows something you have not fully recognized. The moment you accept your blessing, every spiritual system connected to your destiny comes alive. Angels move, pathways open, opportunities unfold. Doors that once stayed locked begin to swing without resistance. And it happens not slowly, not hesitantly, but immediately. I remember the first time I witnessed this kind of acceleration in my own life. I had been battling doubt for weeks, knowing deep down that God was calling me into a new chapter, a new position, a new level of abundance. But fear held me hostage. I kept replaying old failures in my mind, convincing myself I wasn't ready. Then, one night, exhausted from my own overthinking, I whispered, God, I accept it. No long prayer, no perfect words, just surrender. And chosen one. The shift was instant. Things that had been stagnant for months began moving within days. People who were meant to help me suddenly appeared. Resources that had been blocked began to flow. It was as though heaven had been waiting, leaning forward, anticipating the sound of my surrender. And the moment I gave it, the entire atmosphere around my life reorganized itself. Anointed one, the same will happen for you. Heaven is poised, ready, leaning into your story with holy expectation. Because acceptance is more than agreement, it's alignment. When you accept what God has released, your spirit steps into the same rhythm as heaven. And when your rhythm matches heaven's, nothing can stop the blessing from reaching you. Here's the deeper truth. When a chosen one accepts their blessing, identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone hoping for breakthrough and start seeing yourself as someone carrying breakthrough. You stop praying from lack and start praying from authority. You stop approaching life like a survivor and begin walking like a steward of divine purpose. Your language changes, your posture changes, your decisions change, not because you become someone different overnight, but because you finally allow yourself to step into who you already were in the Spirit. When heaven looks at you, it doesn't see hesitation, it sees destiny. And once you accept the blessing, you begin to see yourself the same way heaven does. Chosen one. This is why the enemy fought you so fiercely. He was not afraid of the blessing, he was afraid of the transformed version of you that emerges once you accept the blessing. The version of you that walks boldly, the version that no longer apologizes for favor, the version that no longer shrinks to make others comfortable, the version that carries authority, clarity, and supernatural confidence. And now, heaven is leading you into the final revelation, the part where acceptance becomes acceleration and breakthrough becomes visible. Chosen one. As we enter this final segment, understand this clearly: you are standing in the moment where acceptance becomes acceleration. This is the point in your journey where what was once spiritual begins to take shape in the natural. The blessing that hovered over your life, the shift you felt but could not articulate, the stirring in your spirit that kept you awake at night, all of it is converging right here. Heaven is not preparing to move. Heaven has already moved. Now creation is aligning itself with your yes. Anointed one, I need you to feel the magnitude of this truth. Breakthrough is not a future event. It is a present reality catching up to your willingness to receive. When you said yes in your heart, even if silently, even if trembling, even if unsure, the supernatural realm recorded it. That moment of acceptance became a spiritual signature, authorizing angels to go ahead of you, opening doors, softening hearts, rearranging circumstances, and releasing resources tied to your destiny. I have witnessed this pattern countless times, not just in my own life, but in the lives of people who finally dared to accept what heaven placed in their hands. The moment a chosen one stops resisting their blessing, life begins to respond differently. Emails arrive unexpectedly. Conversations shift. Old burdens lift. Provision flows from unlikely places. And it never happens because someone became stronger. It happens because they became aligned. Chosen one. This blessing you are stepping into is not random. It is not luck. It is not coincidence. It is the fulfillment of a divine timeline that began long before you ever recognized your calling. There were moments you thought God had forgotten you, but heaven was actually positioning you. Every delay trained your endurance. Every closed door shaped your discernment. Every loss built your spiritual weight. Without realizing it, you were being prepared to carry what you are now ready to receive. And here is something heaven is emphasizing for you. This blessing is not just for elevation, it is for restoration. What the enemy stole, what life drained out of you, what past seasons stripped away, heaven is returning in ways that will exceed what you lost. Not equal, exceed. Because when God restores, He restores in abundance. But let me tell you something sacred, something I learned through my own battles. Once breakthrough becomes visible, you must protect your atmosphere. Not everyone can interpret this new blessing accurately. Some will question how you rose so quickly. Some will wonder why things shifted for you now. Some will even try to attach themselves to your blessing without having endured your process. But you, anointed one, must remain rooted, grounded, clear. This blessing is holy. This blessing carries assignment. This blessing is meant to flow through you, not distract you. You are entering a season where favor will recognize you before you even speak, where opportunities will approach you without you chasing them, where doors that were once denied will now open with effortless grace. And it all begins with this truth: your acceptance unlocked what heaven ordained. Chosen one, hold this revelation tightly. Your blessing is not coming. Your blessing is here. And as you walk forward from this moment, walk like someone who has already received. Chosen one. As we reach the end of this message, I want you to slow down and truly feel what heaven has been whispering to you from the very beginning. You are no longer waiting for your blessing. Your blessing is waiting for you. This is the moment where revelation becomes reality, where what was spoken over your life begins to take form, and where faith turns into manifestation. You are standing in the center of your Kairos moment, the exact divine timing heaven prepared long before you ever arrived here. Something inside you has shifted. You can feel it. The uncertainty that once clouded your vision is beginning to clear. The fear that held you back is losing its grip. The heaviness that sat on your shoulders for years is lifting because heaven has declared a new season over your life. You are being repositioned, realigned, reawakened. And as you accept this blessing, the spiritual realm responds instantly. Doors open, pathways straighten, opportunities accelerate, and favor surrounds you like a shield. This blessing is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is not conditional. It has been crafted for you, protected for you, and released at the exact moment your spirit became ready to carry it. All God asks now is that you move with confidence and reverence. No shrinking, no apologizing, no doubting what has already been ordained. You are stepping into a chapter where you no longer chase blessings. They recognize you, locate you, and attach themselves to your purpose. If this message pierced your spirit, let your heart respond. Write an amen in the comments as your declaration of alignment. Share this word with someone who has been standing silently at the edge of their own breakthrough, unsure if they are worthy to receive what heaven is offering. Let your obedience become their confirmation. Chosen one, walk forward with holy boldness. Your blessing is not a possibility, it is a reality. It is unfolding, it is active, and it is already shaping your future in ways you cannot yet see. Your blessing is here. Accept it with gratitude, carry it with authority, and let your life testify to the goodness of the one who appointed this moment for you.